Kalani and I had to cancel another fucking self-storage deal. I was stressed out of my mind. And I was so stressed, like my heartburn went crazy. I was like having to like meditate for like 30 minutes at a time just because I was trying to get all this done. I'll explain everything. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video because I got something really special for you guys. So Kalani and I, today is like the second, had to cancel on a storage facility deal that we got sent by a wholesaler because our CapEx was $100,000 over what we anticipated it being. So I lost 11 grand in earnest money and travel costs. And now we got to tell our investors like, hey, the deal doesn't work. This is the second time we've had to tell our investors, hey, you know what? We locked it up too high, didn't make sense, deal didn't work. And right, whatever you can say, it's like a learning experience and everything else. But the one thing I was really stressed out about was raising the $500,000 for this real estate deal. Because I'd never done it before. Whenever I've partnered up with someone else, I'd found a partner who would raise the money for me. I relied on their credibility, and then I brought the deal, whatever it is. And so we tried doing it on our own, and we raised a decent amount. And then I was talking to one of my friends, and he said, hey, if you will do this, I'll raise all the cash, we give the investor X amount, and we keep the rest. And so that, to me, made my life extremely easier of finding really the who and not the how. Because then it took it off my plate of like having to go shake hands, kiss babies, hell yeah, you want this, hell yeah, you want this. And then you gotta suck a lot of dick to raise $500,000 for a storage facility that isn't gonna cash flow for 2 years and they don't get their money back for like 3 to 5. In all reality, you're sucking a lot of dick, you're doing it, and I thought it was an amazing deal, but getting people to see that vision is hard. So we did it, raised a lot of money, and then my friend approached me, was like, hey bro, and he presented that opportunity. I was like, bro, that's a no-brainer. It helps me out a lot. Now I'm not stressed out about losing my 11 grand, even though now we've lost 11 grand on this deal anyways. And the reason I was so stressed when I was raising the $500,000 is, number one, I was making sure every variable was right, because you treat everyone else's money way better than you treat yours, right? Like if we're gonna raise this thing and we're gonna make it good, this thing better be a home run, and there is no fucking downside for our investors, because I just don't operate that way. Number two, we were buying a wholesale deal from another investor in one of our masterminds. And so we wanted to make sure we took care of him. I was like, bro, if we're gonna lock it up and it's it looks like a good deal, let's make sure we take care of him. There's a wholesale deal. I know it's like the wholesale deals, it can be a pain in the ass sometimes. And so I wanted to save face, number one, for that wholesaler, make sure his life is easier. Number two, just save face in the mastermind. And then today, we canceled it, and the wholesaler freaked out and got all pissed and everything else. But number one, never be afraid to cancel a deal if it doesn't make sense. I'm never going to buy a bad deal to save face with one person, but it fucks over the other people who we raised the money from, right? So, okay, we're $100,000 over budget. At that point, it did not make financial sense to buy the deal. So don't let that shit linger on you, right? We gotta take care of the investors first, whatever. We take the $11,000 hit, we'll move on, the dude gets our earnest money, and we told him as soon as we got all of our bids back. If you are ever going to cancel a deal, don't fucking drag someone out forever. We flew out there as soon as we could. We looked at everything, got our bids. As soon as we got our bids, we're like, hey, shit, here's where we're at. It doesn't make sense. Hop on the phone with the dude. And we tried to renegotiate. He didn't want to. Blah, blah, blah. Hopefully he gets it sold. But whenever you are going to cancel a deal, don't just fucking drag someone out forever. As soon as we found out the bids, and then we got feedback from one of our investors as well, he's in storage. He's like, hey, bro, I'm seeing the same thing. It doesn't make sense. The reason you don't want to draw it out is because then, number one, you're putting the seller in a bad situation, and you're putting the wholesaler in a bad situation because they can't save face. So, number one lesson, never be afraid to cancel a deal that doesn't make sense for you and your investors, because you need to be a good steward of their money. And all of those people who are investing with you are really investing in you and not in the deal. They have 100% faith in us to be a good steward of the money and make sure that they get good returns and that their money returns to them. Number 2, the collective over the single. I will never sacrifice the collective of people over the one single person. Never makes sense. And that's all. Don't be afraid to cancel those deals if they don't make sense. Hold your ground and never ever lock up a bad deal, no matter what the situation is. Pay the money to find out something that you see and it doesn't make sense. Because I'd rather lose 11 than lose 100 any day of the week.